You ready?
I reckon. All right, my name's Bryant,
I'm Hope.
and this is our story.
Both of our parents, our whole family really never went to church. We never really grew up in church, knew about church. I mean, when I was little, like some of my friends, I had a friend who went to like a Catholic church. Went with her a couple of times. I don't know if you've ever, did you ever go to church with friends at all? Probably not.
I don't know.
Yeah. So like those are our introductions, like to
We weren't raised around it.
faith. We just weren't raised around
It
it.
wasn't enough to remember.
That's right, yeah.
Right.
And we knew, we always believed and we knew there's good and there's evil. So,
And you just try at that age. I mean, you just try.
yeah, and my whole life,
right.
I thought I was good. I didn't need it. And people tried to talk to me about it. And I wouldn't be disrespectful. I would listen, but I would be like, all right, I gotta go, or I'd go the other way. I mean, I was wild, I partied and all that, but I thought I was still a good dude. I was going to heaven if something happened to me. I mean, I really never thought about it. Like where I was going or whatever. I didn't really ever think about it. I was scared to death of death. I didn't like it. I didn't even want to talk about it.
Would not
And,
talk about it.
But if I did ever think about it, I thought I'm not killing people or doing it. Like, I mean, I'm a good dude.
Like,
I'm
we
going to
don't,
heaven.
You know.
And I didn't own a Bible. And so I didn't know. I was just uneducated. And,
Well, when you don't grow up around it, you don't hear about it. Your family's not into it. So
Yeah.
no one's telling you or guiding you
yeah.
throughout life on where you're headed. So you live like the world. You just, what you see is what you do.
Well, that's what we did. We lived
that's
like
what
the
we
world.
did.
We partied, we drank, we did whatever we wanted to whenever we wanted to. And
I moved out of my house when I was 17.
in with me.
Moved in with him.
And so she still went to high school living with me. I'd get up and go to work. She'd go to high school. But we made it. And we've been married 16 years. And so I didn't really battle with depression. I mean, I kind of did, I guess, because I drank all the time. If I wasn't at work, I mean, I'm drinking after work. I'm drinking on the weekends. We're partying. We're doing something. If we're not at work, we're drinking. And so I guess I did kind of battle some depression or something. But this one day, or leading up to it, we were at the beach actually drinking and partying. It was her birthday and my brother's wife's birthday, and they're a day apart. So we were at the beach just drinking, hanging out. And then my brother said something like, hey, we're going to go to church in the morning. I'm like, dang, I want to go. Like something just, I don't know. I mean, like, I want to go. So we go in there and sit down, and it's like everybody's looking at us, and everything that the preacher's saying is like straight to us. And it's like, oh my God, I've come out of there and I'm like, dude, I got the most out of that service than I ever have in my life. And I can't even repeat what he was talking about, but everything, it was just like straight to me and her. Like, it was just like, wow. And so then that was Sunday on June 9th. And then June 11th was on a Tuesday. And dude, I was bad. I was in a bad, dark spot. I don't know why. I don't know what. Just a life.
Just life in general.
Life, money, family, kids. My kids are bad. Like, just everything. I'm the leader of the house, and I'm in a bad spot. And I'm like, dude, I need to talk to somebody. And then my buddy Keith calls me, like, kind of out of the blue, but he's the most powerful Christian dude I knew at the time. And
Which he's talked to us before.
he has talked to us.
Okay.
And he's been in our house talking to us, planting the seed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're like, yeah, I mean, we listened to it and all that, but nothing sank in. Like, we weren't open to it, ready for it, or whatever. I don't know. But this time, he's like, what's up? I'm like, dude, what's up? And he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was like, just pray for me. He's like, what? He freaked out. And I'm like, dude, because he hears that coming from me. Because he knows I'm rotten. I mean, I cuss like a sailor. Whenever he would call, I would try not to. Right. But I couldn't go 5 minutes without saying a cuss word. I'm telling you, it was bad. And just live like the world. I mean, that's what you hear out there. It's awful. Because now I hear it and I'm like, oh my goodness. I used to be like that. Yep. And so, dude, he's like, well, what's going on? What is it? And I'm like, dude, just life. He says, never mind, I don't care. You ready? And I'm driving down the road in my work truck. And, dude, he starts praying. And it's the most powerful thing that's ever happened.
Wow.
He said, God, put the angels in the cab of that truck with him right now. And just like, just Jesus moving his heart. And dude, as all that was going on, I had to pull over. I couldn't hold it together. I could feel, dude, just all this weight coming off my shoulders, like it was going out the window, just shoo, shoo, just, and I'm like, this huge relief. I had this hole, like inside my body that was just huge, like, it felt like a 55-gallon drum. And dude, it's just getting filled up with just like love and joy and grace and peace. And it's just like, dude, I could just feel it just filling me up. And I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. Like it was powerful. It was crazy. And so I bawled like a baby, dude. I'm like, he got done praying. I said, I gotta go. And I had to hang up. I got off the phone, dude, and I cried. And I would never cry. I was so mean and rotten and was full of, I was mean, dude, mean. I was mean to her, mean to the kids, mean to everybody. I was just mean and no patience. I still struggle with patience a little bit, but I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better than I was. But dude, that right there changed my life forever. Like, I called her on FaceTime and I'm just bawling and she's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Do I need to come get you?
Because I've never seen him cry before.
Yeah.
And it was bad. It was real bad. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's good. I'm good. I don't know what's going on. I'm good. And I came home that day and I said, look, this is what happened.
I had a lot of questions at first. I was just like, is this, well, of course it had to be real because before this, he was that person. He was very mean, very,
It wasn't good. It was
yeah,
wrong.
It just wasn't, I'm not saying that you were just terrible.
No, but I definitely was not like I am now.
Yeah, he knew those buttons to push to make you feel bad about yourself, and he'd push those, you know?
Yeah, I was mean. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But all that, dude, that was being removed from me as that he was praying. It was so crazy because since then I haven't cussed. I haven't said a cuss word. I haven't drank nothing, a drop since that day. That day I come home and I said, dude, I'm not drinking and I'm not cussing. Yeah. Like it's gone. That has left me. And I had a full heart transplant in the cab of that truck. Mm-hmm. He went in there and just pulled that heart out, old black heart, and just removed it and just inserted another one. And before he started praying, I could feel my heart beating, just doof, doof. And then ever since then, it's been gone. I don't even feel it beat. It's unbelievable. It's so crazy and powerful. And I came home, I told them, I said, look, this is how we're fixing to live. I'm the leader of this pack, and this is what's fixing to happen. I got gas in the tank, and we're fixing to, and so that's where we
started.
And then I didn't have a Bible, so I talked to my buddy, and I tell him I had to finally call him back, and I'm like, dude, this is what just happened. And he's like, dang, he said, dude, I can feel it. Something was happening. And he's like, no, you got it. And I said, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah, I got all of it.
All of it.
And I was pumped up, dude. It was had me so fired up that I wanted to build my own church. I want to build, if this can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And that's where it got me so fired up. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Yeah. This is absolutely crazy.
Both of them, Keith and Bryant, they were like trying to get me to look for buildings. And I was just like, guys, Y'all have lost your coconuts.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but he tells me what Bible to order. New King James Version, Amplified, Parallel Bible. So I order it. It comes in, we start reading it together. He said, start in Matthew. I'm like, all right. Dude, we start reading in Matthew, and then I got so much gas in the tank, like I'm ready to go. And we're reading like together. And I'm like, I can't wait for Sunday. We're going back to church. We go back in there, and dude, everything we just read is what he's talking about. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. How does this happen? So that was pretty wild. And then, so then we continued to read it, and then she was a tough egg to crack. Because now it's like, all right, you're coming with me. And then the kids, we gotta have them. They're fixing to get saved too. So we went to a small church that Keith preached at, a small church in Niceville that we got access to. So I invited my family and a bunch of us. This had the old wooden church pews that would pinch your butt in a dress.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, so it was old school, but he got up there and he laid the hammer down and preached, and there's an altar in there. So then he taught me a lot about all that. Like, there's most churches nowadays don't even have an altar in them, and it's sad for me. And now that I know what time it is, I didn't know all that. I didn't know anything about it, but he's taught me a lot. And this church had an altar, and he taught me about that. And she went down to the altar, and she got her a dose of it that day at that little church. It was like August 4th or something.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
But, and then we came to meet you at the pole rally or whatever to pray for the schools. Patrick told me to come. He's like, it's for youth, but they're not going to kick you out. Just y'all come. And I was all gassed up. So I was like, dude, I'm allowed to be in the church now. That's how I felt.
Wow.
It wasn't. Yes, I know what time it is. I'm allowed to be in there. So I said, let's go. So we went in here, and that's when I think Colby or somebody came up and was like, hey, are you a youth pastor? And I just turned and said, not yet. And I'm like, I don't even know where that came from, but that's what he asked me, and that's how I answered it. But whenever we came in here and I seen that there was 4 altars, I said, hey, this might be where we need to go. This story wasn't easy. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't get away from it, but I was open to whatever. I needed something, and I didn't know what it was I needed. I drank enough alcohol to float a battleship, and I tried to fill that void. I didn't know I mean, obviously I knew I had a void in me from some reason, because I did everything I could to try to fill it, and I couldn't do it living like the world. And I tried, trust me. But when that got on me, it filled that void, and it's like, dude, this is what I gotta have. This is what I needed, and I can't believe I lived that long without it. I mean, it is unbelievable, just the peace, and like the Bible says, the scales have been removed from our eyes, and now we look at everything different.
So when I was a kid, I was an anxious kid. You know, there wasn't a very stable family life. So when I was real young, I had like a little bit of an anxiety attack. I think there were some things going on. They were moving us around, or moving me around from house to grandparents to house to
different schools
and stuff like that. So I kind of lost it when I was about 8 years old, and had a little touch with anxiety then, and then everything was fine for a long time. And then one day I was working from home, and just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was just like I started to feel like, what am I doing? Like, what is the point of me being here? And having these like real intense thoughts about life, and is this real? And what am I doing? Like, what's the point of watching TV? What's the point of having a conversation? Like, what's the point? And I just kept saying, what's the point? What's the point? And so I was just like, then I started having an anxiety attack. My heart started racing, and thoughts started going crazy, and I couldn't like calm myself down. And of course I'm home by myself, and it started the night before. The night before was like a little rough, and I told him, I was like touching him, I'm like making sure he was real. That's how like out of it I think I was.
It was bad.
Yeah. So I kept touching him, and I was like, oh my gosh, something's not right, something's not right. And of course he doesn't know what to do, I don't know what to do. We're not saved yet, you know, we don't know what's going on. And so the next day it just gets worse. And so my thought process at that time, I guess, I just dealt with it all through the night and all that day. And I was just like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't like how I feel right now. It's not going away. And it just was nothing I could do to stop it. So my first thought was, okay, I'm going to end it.
She told me, she said, I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty tough to hear.
So I told him that. I said, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, what's the point of me being here? You know, nothing, I don't feel right, nothing, like, it was myself in my head and having like a full-blown on conversation, but like a battle in my mind. And it was just like, okay, like nothing was getting resolved. It was just getting worse and worse and worse. So that day, I don't really know what exactly happened. It's kind of spotty, but I just remember
I got there. I mean, I came home. I had to come home from work.
Yeah, he had to come home from work because
yeah, she wasn't doing good. It was bad. It was rough. Good. And so
I was gonna harm myself. I was just gonna be done with it and harm myself. And
so then it started with, then we started doctors and medications, and then it's try this medication,
and then it was just wasn't getting any better.
Or one of them would make it worse, and then
in and out.
It was a battle.
Yes.
In and out of the hospital. It was a rough road for us both.
And it was constant. It was a constant battle in my mind of like, what are you doing here? You're not worth it. This is never gonna go away. You know, just constantly on and on. I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good person. Not good enough. Just all these things. Look at your life. Look at your career. Look at your bank account. Just on and on and on and on. And it's like I couldn't get the voices to stop. I couldn't get a moment of peace. And finally, they got me on enough medication where it was like I was a zombie. And which I didn't feel like I was. I thought it was all internalized. So you really don't know how you're acting on all that medication.
Yeah, it was, she was like a zombie. I couldn't wrestle with her or mess with her. She was just like mood stabilizers, just no emotion with anything.
I was on 5 different medications. They clinically diagnosed me bipolar.
And so they said she's going to take this for the rest of her life.
So I just dealt with it and dealt with it. Well, life doesn't get any easier, you know? So there's ups and downs, even though I'm still medicated. Well, the downs were awful. And it's like if I was feeling bad that day, I would be like, okay, here we go. And it's like, it's easier just to be in the dark and by yourself and just to go in a corner. And I would have to go in my closet and scream into a pillow to get
it was bad.
it out, like just to release some sort of, I don't know what, relief of some sort, because it wouldn't stop. So finally, when he got saved, I saw the changes in him, and I was like, well, this isn't going away. He's not changing. He's staying this person. And I was like, okay, this is legit. Like something's up with this. And I mean, I need to know. And he was so passionate and strong about, hey, we need to try to get you off this medication. And I was scared half to death because I'm like,
I knew though what happened to me. I knew that can happen to her. That she doesn't need any medication. And our kids, one of them took ADD medicine, and I took it growing up, and I was still taking it. Once I got saved, I don't need none of that. I don't need none of that garbage. I don't need it. I can do it without it. I know what time it is. It's awesome. And
yeah.
so I tried with her.
But he was like, you need to try to get off of it. You really need to try. And I'm just like, I just don't want to go
through all that
all of it again.
It was a nightmare. It was bad.
But he wasn't changing. He was getting better. He was loving different. He was more compassionate, caring. I mean, he was doing so great, and I could see it in him. And I was like, this has to be good. It has to be good. So I got in contact with a psychiatrist because you have to wean off those medications.
Yeah, you can't just stop taking them.
And so I started weaning off one by one.
We talked to him on the phone. It was a teledoc, and I said, no, our goal is to be off of all medications. I got on there with her, and he's like looking at me like crazy eyes in the phone, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not playing. We know there's something out there that's bigger and better, and we know it. I know it, and that's our goal. And so he said, okay,
but when
we'll
a doctor reads your report, your medical report, and has seen all these things go on in and out of the hospital, he's like, oh boy. You know?
He didn't. He was thinking, oh no,
giving you the go ahead.
Oh sure. Yeah, he was hesitant. But one night in our bedroom, we have like a chest up against our bed,
and the foot of the bed,
yeah. And I just got down and I started crying. I said, you know, if you are real and this is going to happen, take it away from me. Take it away from me right now. I don't want to deal with any more anxiety. No more depression. I don't want any thoughts. I want a sound mind. And I just basically was like, let's do this. Like, I give it all to you and it's in your hands. And I just gave everything to him. And I just slowly but surely started just giving it all, piece by piece. And I was just like, and if there's something in my life that I need to get rid of, take it away. Like, I just wanted it all to be gone. And slowly but surely I got all that medication out of my system, and it's like ever since then it's been like, I don't know, like this piece of just, you have a sound mind now. Like, this is what it feels like to be saved in grace and in love and peace. This is what it feels like.
Yes.
And it's like I never knew what that was. And I can remember, because when I was going through my panic attacks, when I was asking it to end, and just, I'd beg even him. I'm just like, let me kill myself. Let me just go. And he would be like, no, you can't go anywhere.
No.
And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. And I would yell at God. I'd be mad at him. Like, just take me. Just do something with me. But I can't live this way anymore. And then now I look at it, and he's like, and he was there the whole time. He was there the whole time, but I had to go through it so I could be here right now and tell this to whoever needs it.
That's right.
Yes.
It was just so hard.
Yeah. The journey's difficult. It's hard. But the beauty of it is that seeing, even whenever, and that's what's so wonderful about the gospel, even while we were sinners, the Bible says Christ still died for us.
Yes.
Even when we were polluted in our own mess, he still said, Hope, you're worthy. Bryant, you're worthy, because I love you. You know, and I just thank God for that.
It's awesome, dude. It's so awesome.
But to
God is good.
Yes. But to be
all the glory goes to him.
Like alcohol free, no medication.
No medication. None of us. Me, her, the kids, nobody. No medication. Nothing.
And for them just to, now they can change their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working on it, you know? So it's good.
They've already changed a lot.
They have changed a lot.
Sure.
They both have changed a lot. And they're only going to get better. Yeah. We're going to lead it in the right direction. And
the crazy part is like how we just never knew.
Never knew. I didn't know that could happen to anybody. Like what happened to me. Or even with her.
And then he gets saved like this, right? It like slaps him in the face. And he's all geeked out. And
I was yes, that
it was a hot mess having to live with him.
Yeah.
but nobody's putting my light out, I can tell you.
No.
The only one that can do that is me, remember?
That's right. The only person that gets you out of God's will.
That's right.
He was a little rough on people. He was slapping people upside the head with Bible, and I was like, oh boy. But
I jump on them with both feet. I can't be doing that. I gotta do
you have
it.
to love them
I
like
know.
Jesus.
I'm learning.
He's learning. He's learning.
That's
He's
right.
learning.
I mean, you
That's
know.
growth, right?
It
That's
is.
right.
It's just growth.
But see, I was going.
But it's the truth. I'm telling them the truth.
You-
too.
I know.
It's just,
Yeah.
you know.
But he was going through his stuff, and I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, he has this like feeling of like this, his heart getting ripped out, and then leaving him empty, and then this empty big spot being filled up with all this great stuff. And I'm like, and then as I was getting better, I think I was like, well, I'm not saved because that didn't happen to me. And so I kept questioning it and questioning it and questioning it. And then we started going here, and then we talked to Rob,
Pastor Rob, he,
Pastor Rob, and he was like, oh, that's the Holy Ghost. You just haven't been filled with the Holy Ghost yet. And I was like, what in the world?
it was awesome.
And so,
That's
yeah,
really great.
quit. and then so I started seeking after that.
Sure.
And then I told, it's a joke, it's an inside joke, but I was like, if you get anything else,
Oh yeah, she's like, if you start speaking in tongues, I'm sticking you in the neck with a fork. And
if
dude,
you say that to Pastor Rob, he'll know what's going on.
that next church service,
Dude, I'm
it
like,
was
if
trying to come
anything
out.
else
So you're
happens
like,
to
I
you,
am not getting stuck.
I had to bite my tongue. I had to bite my tongue to keep it from coming out. And I'm like, she's sitting right next to me. I'm like, if I start speaking in tongues right now, she's gonna go crazy.
She's got a fork in her purse.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to just hold back. And I got through that service, and then I didn't tell her nothing about it for a while because she was really upset about it. She's like, dude, if you get anything else, I'm going crazy. And I'm
it's
like,
just not fair. So
Yeah. That's
me and God had to talk about that. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
don't you dare leave me out of this party train,
That's right.
because I mean, I'm coming.
we broke some chains.
That's
The chains were broke.
That's right.
And it's awesome. But another thing that's kind of crazy is if this would have happened to her and she would have come home and was like, hey, we ain't drinking no more and we're not doing this and that, and I just ordered a Bible, I'd be like, you've lost your mind.
Yeah.
I would have went crazy. Like, I would have been still drinking whatever, but that's why it had to happen to me first. I feel like being the leader of the household.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just it's just that's how I
He just
feel.
knew how to get everything where he wanted
He knows
it.
what's up. Yeah, he knows.
Oh, the Lord did.
Yeah.
The Lord did.
Yeah.
Had to get you.
Yeah, yeah.
And my back was against the wall that day. I mean, I was in a bad place, so it was the timing was.
Perfect.
He knows what time it is. It's awesome.
I would say just to, I don't know, let go.
Yes, that's good.
Let go of it, because I feel like you just hold on to it, and that's what builds
Yes.
up in you.
You got to be open.
And
Yes,
so
you let go. Yeah.
This whole screaming in the pillow is trying to let go of it, trying to get it out of you. And I think if you just let go, he'll catch you. You know?
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
I mean,
just let go. Yeah.
and if he can heal me and you, he can heal anybody. Is my thing, and that's what they need to know.
Hey guys, if you can come join us for Easter, 8:30 or 10:30 service at Milliken, we'd love to worship with you.